very much, I'm a COVID baby, like so many entrepreneurs. The beautiful, magical shores of Woodbine Beach washed up on my soul with this idea.
Tell us about your Dragon's Den journey.
I did not know I was going on Dragon's Den until about 8 in the morning, and I filmed at 10 o'clock.
There's a lot of brands in the market who call themselves size inclusive.
Don't get me started.
Welcome back to another episode of The Edge, a Leaders Show. I am Pragya Bisain, and on today's episode, we're sitting down with someone who created a successful brand out of something she was made to feel insecure about. She's an entrepreneur, she's a makeup artist, and her unique brand is bringing size-inclusive sunglasses for all the round and white face shape girlies. Please welcome Dragon's Den alumni and the CEO of SOL KYST, Meghan Victoria. So Meghan, first of all, as someone with a round and...
I know, I was noticing that. I was like, oh, we have to get you to try things on.
Yes, I'm going to say thank you because I've never tried a cat eye in my life because of this very reason. And I'm sure just like me, our viewers also are very curious about your journey and how did you actually get into this? I'm sure there's a personal experience behind it.
Of course.
But just walk us through it. How did you decide to start a brand out of it?
Yeah, so it's very much, I'm a COVID baby, like so many entrepreneurs. It's actually really interesting how much entrepreneurship came out of COVID. But yeah, it very much started, I was a makeup artist for 10 years, working in film and TV, all of that. And then one of the first things to shut down during COVID was touching people's faces, understandably. And so I'm sitting at home and I was wondering what I was gonna do. You know, I don't have EI, I don't have any really backup. And I was like, let's just ignore all our problems and go to the beach. And I was like, wearing my cute little like bathing suit, my cute little cover up, and I like to say like I'm a very fun and glamorous person, but I'm sitting there going, my inside and my outside like don't match. Like I just don't feel like cohesive in like who I am and how I'm presenting. And the biggest reason was I was wearing a pair of stupid sunglasses because they're made so small. I have a very wide and round face. It's just the way it's been my entire life, and I've never really worn glasses. And so I was sitting on the like at the beach with my friend, and I remember like kind of conversing with her and being like, I'm not really paying attention to our conversation because I'm plagued by this insecurity, because I'm like, I feel stupid. Like this is really bothering me, and I'm not really someone who's like, I do have a lot of self-confidence, so it didn't feel right to me. And then I kind of thought about it, like if you're wearing a pair of jeans that are too small or too big, you just go get another size. But you can't do that with eyewear. Like sunglasses are made in extremely standardized sizing. And it was just very much like, I kind of joke for all the Toronto locals, like the beautiful magical shores of Woodbine Beach washed up on my soul with this idea. Like, and I literally went home and I just like locked myself away for like the year. And I just had this, I don't know, I swear it just like kind of hit me and was like, I have to do this. And it's kind of been my driving force doing all of this, like through all the challenges. It's like, it doesn't feel like a why I'm doing it. It feels like I have to. And so I feel like it just happened, and now here we are like almost 3 years later.
Great, congratulations. You mentioned that you've been a makeup artist for over a decade. So would you say that that helped you understand people's faces better and girls' faces better? So that kind of gave you a leverage and confidence to break into this underserved market?
100%. I always said that. Like I never just wanted to like widen the measurements of like basic sunglasses, but like I wanted to truly like hone in on the features of a wider face and like what like we need to do to bring that alive. So for instance, like you have beautiful cheekbones, like you and I both have a very similar facial structure. And so when you have that, like it's gonna kind of lift, so you need to add a bit more curvature to the frame. There's different things, and like especially like I can talk about like our KYST eyes. We say like it's the reimagined cat eye. So the idea is like when you have a cat eye, it goes up and then it totally goes down and it ruins that lift. So for these guys, I really wanted to make sure we had a continuous lift, so you continue that like beautiful facelift. We have like rounded square edges that really sit in harmony with both round and square faces in terms of bone structure, and just like all those little intricacies of seeing so many women in my chair throughout the years and like how much beauty there is, but how can we really like bring that to life with like a brand new thoughtfully crafted product?
Yeah. So would you say like there's a lot of brands in the market who call themselves size inclusive?
Don't get me started.
So what makes SOL KYST different from that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I think there's a few reasons. So we did a lot of research in terms of what people call size inclusive, because I feel personally that size inclusive is the new greenwashing. People throw that word around left, right, and center, but if you're gonna actually tackle a problem, you need to really hone in on those issues. And so when you think of like sunglasses, a lot of them for size inclusive, they'll say the width won't change, but the height will change. Mm-hmm. So that's some of the interesting differences. And I find that really like interesting that we haven't brought it the other way around.
It is interesting.
It is interesting. So they'll be like, oh, here are 3 sizes of glasses, but then it's just like the width is changing to give you a more say like oversized feel, but nobody's really thought about like the fit of the glasses. And it's so important to think of wider faces because, like, I would say fashion and function, they look cute, obviously, but it's also like you don't get temple headaches from it squeezing your face.
I was gonna say, your temples are still hurting.
It's honestly one of the biggest things mentioned in our reviews. It's really interesting. And then the other thing is that brands will go like 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, like they'll go like, they just tiptoe, whereas we're like, we're gonna jump off the deep end. Like the difference between our smallest size and our like widest size, I think is almost about 3 centimeters. And like still, I think we can probably go more. And I know if we wanted to go into the smaller faces, it would definitely be more, but there's no reason from your small to your large, it should be less than a centimeter. Like I have seen so many people in my chair, and I always say like we've brought size inclusivity all over the body, but like why are the faces any different?
I absolutely agree with you. And social media obviously played a big role for you because it's a COVID baby. So would you say that it's not the same anymore because different channels bring different kinds of audience to your brand? And with post-COVID, now it being so saturated with when it comes to content, like it's a hit and miss almost. So would you say it's the same for entrepreneurs today to create a successful social brand?
That's actually a really good question. I have kind of I feel like there's a two-part answer to this. Like, I would say it's harder. It is more saturated. There is a lot more going on. However, I will say if you really focus on creating a solution to someone's problem, just that mere existence will get people excited. So like we've had videos go viral and do like millions of views and everything. And it's just because someone learns about the existence. And a lot of people don't even know that there are sizes of glasses or like any of that. They don't know if they have a wide face. So our videos have nothing to do with the wide face, but I always put the word like wide face or something where they get triggered and they go, wait, I think I might have this or I might have this problem. And so I think if people really focus on creating a solution to a problem, there will always be eyes on it. But yes, it is a much more saturated market and you just got to keep throwing stuff at a wall.
Yeah, when in this case, people didn't know that they had a problem, that they might have a white face and they need new sunglasses. So tell us about your Dragon's Den journey and how did you prepare for it, and like how has the brand been after that?
So my Dragon's Den journey is a little bit different. I did not know I was going on Dragon's Den until about 8 in the morning and I filmed at 10 o'clock. Really? Yes, so I was a call-up, as I like to say, or I think, what do they call it? They call it
sideline. Standby.
Standby, there we go, thank you. You know more things, excellent. So I was a standby pitcher. So I did audition in April. They were like, okay, we're gonna let you know some point in April if you're on the show or not. And I was like, great. It was the last day. I was in another entrepreneurship like cohort that day, and I had like just finished a pitching competition, and we were all at the bar celebrating, and I got a call saying like, hey, it's blah, blah, blah from Dragon's Den, call us back. And I was like, this is the last day of April. You really need to wait this long? So I called back and they were like, okay, so we actually have an exciting opportunity for you. You're gonna be a standby pitcher. So if someone can't make it or whatever, we have time, we're gonna have you come in, but you don't really get a budget. You're just gonna come in and pitch. So this was Friday and they were like, on Monday, let's have a conversation. You tell us like what you're gonna pitch, what it's gonna be about. And I was like, yeah, sounds good. I called, did the little pitch, practice all weekend, learned all my numbers, so many numbers, and then was good to go. And then I believe it was Monday I talked to her, and then she was like, hey, at some point in May, we'll call you. And then Tuesday morning, they called me.
Literally the next day.
Absolutely, like it was absolutely the next day. And I just like rushed out of bed. I was like not planning on doing anything that day and was like, thank God my hair is clean. Run to the mirror. I'm like, okay, I can glam. Within like 2 hours, like packed all the products, everything, and just like walked in. So they just mic'd me and I just went and was like, hello, dragons. So everyone will say my episode's a little like eccentric, but that's because I just rolled out of bed and was like, I'm blacked out right now.
That brings me to my next question. How was the reception of the episode? Like I saw over socials that you had like a celebration and everything. So how was that?
Oh yeah, I really wanted to have a party. So I definitely was one of the people who's like watched Dragon's Den since they were little. Like I loved that show for as long as I can remember. So it was very much like a bucket list thing for me. And then it was over in like 10 minutes. Well, no, it's like an hour, but it feels like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, it's over now. So I really wanted to have a party and kind of like relive it. So we did. We had a great party. Everyone loved the episode, and I still am really thrilled. Like everything that's on it, I was like, great. They made me look so good. I was like, editors, thank you, because like there's definitely so much that you don't see when you're like on the show, because you're in there for a good hour.
Yeah, and I'm sure it helped the brand as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think the biggest thing I would say for people with Dragon's Den is I think the show has changed. I think the reach is a bit different nowadays. Like it used to be, like the Olympics of business, and now it has kind of with the times, we are a much more digital age and all of those things. And I think there could be less reach, more reach, whatever. But I think the street cred is the biggest thing I've taken away from Dragon's Den. I love to be in a room, say like, oh yeah, I have an accessories brand. I'm a makeup artist. People kind of roll their eyes, sure, whatever. And then you say like you're on Dragon's Den and you get people's attention, you get people's respect. It's not great, but it is the reality. And especially when you're coming from not having a business background and going into those spaces and you're like, I don't know all the acronyms. I like need the Urban Dictionary of Business. Like I always say that. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Let me Google that in the bathroom. But like as soon as you say Dragon's Den, they do go, oh, you actually, oh, and you got a deal? Oh.
You're legit.
Yeah, it does. It helps a lot. I like it.
Great. So, I mean, I'm going to say that SOL KYST is already in somewhat terms breaking stereotypes. What is your advice for women who want to break into this niche of self-love, body positive, and just making a business around this?
I would say the biggest thing is you have to have a good product, of course, but it's way more about the community. When you go into a much more vulnerable niche and a much more community-oriented place, you learn so much about yourself, you learn so much about your customers, but you're sharing stories. And so the product becomes like a side piece of it because it's really the conversations and the growth and the community that you build that is where your focus needs to be.
Yeah, so it's much more than just monetizing over people's insecurities. It's actually trying to understand what they need and giving them that.
Oh, absolutely. Like this is not, like going into this kind of niche is not like a get rich quick scheme. You have to connect with people and you have to be in it for the right reasons because people they share so much with you and they can also read through like the crap. Like they can read and if not, someone's not being authentic or transparent. And so the connection we have with our community has been amazing and that's why I love that we built it on social media because like I could name like 100 of our customers off the top of my head. Like just because you give your phone number out to someone, you like we go above and beyond for sure, but like our customers they become your friends and that's why it's so important that you have that just genuine connection all the way around through the brand infrastructure and with your customer.
I agree with you. So looking back now, like being a makeup artist for over a decade and then starting a business, how do you feel about your brand and your life at this moment?
Tired. No, I've honestly been the happiest I've been. I've always been someone who needs to create and I was loving makeup and it's not like I was ever trying to get out of it, but COVID just really gave me that chance to try something new and I just feel like it's been very guided and very like looked after the whole way through. I'm working like more hours and harder than I've ever worked before, but there's just something different and new every day that keeps me like on my toes and like I just love that feeling alive feeling and also just feeling like we're making such a difference in people's lives. Like I really thought I was creating a pair of sunglasses at the beginning and it's way more. Like we are absolutely giving people like the gift of confidence and like that's incredible.
Absolutely. And do you think that businesses nowadays should incorporate these kind of strategies to actually make a difference in people's life?
Oh, absolutely. And I think consumers are so smart nowadays and everyone's like wanting to know brand values. What do you support? Who are you about? And it becomes so much more than just your product. And that's why you really have to have that like entire brand ecosystem completely cohesive and what you're about and your values and your mission have to all align because people will see through it completely.
Yeah, the audience knows everything.
They do.
So what is the future for SOL KYST and Meghan? Like what would you say in the next 5 years? What are you planning for the brand?
Oh my gosh, I know everyone keeps asking this question and I'm literally like, yo, day by day. But no, I think this year for us is really like putting in the fundamentals. Like I joke and say like I was selling Girl Guide cookies for the last 2 years being like, do you want this? Yes, no? Okay, fine, moving on. But now like we have a team in place. We have like strategy, we have marketing. It's like whole lot of things. And so it's getting those pieces in place to then see where and how we can scale and grow to make sure we don't like grow too quickly that things fall off. I will say we have a very exciting project coming later this year, which like I can't talk about, but that has been my entire existence for the last 6 months of just working so hard on this. And we are working on both a men's line, which will be exciting because I know all the, like we call them our KYST couples, where, you know, like the woman will buy like the product and then the boyfriend or husband will steal it. And then we say like they share glasses, but there are some things where men's designs are a little bit different. So I do want to kind of cater to that because I know a lot of guys have giant heads. Everyone in my family has a giant head. It's kind of where it came from. So for all like the football heads, like we need to do something there. It's probably our most asked thing. And then I really, because we've done so many like neutral everyday pieces, which I love, but I'm a very creative person and I want to make some crazy weird stuff. We're going to work on kind of a drop model to drop like some really fun things. If you like it, you like it. When it's gone, to let my creativity kind of exist more, because the business is very fun, but it's very business, and I need to keep my artist brain happy as well. So
I agree with it. It already sounds like a success to me though. So lastly, tell our viewers about how they can learn more about SOL KYST and where they can find these products.
yeah, so you can go to solkyst.ca and we have everything there, and it's just at SOL KYST on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. TikTok is where it's most fun because we have a party.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Meghan.
Thank you. This is so great.
Thank you for watching the Edge of Leaders show. Stay tuned for more episodes, and if you know someone who's a good fit for our show, then please feel free to reach out to us.